Taylormade always produces incredible drivers. The Stealth 2 line is no exception. So you're going to find out just which of the 3 models is right for your game. Definitely a little more spin. The toe strike's not going to hurt. That was perfect. Yeah, I mean, my face was almost 2 degrees open there. Face to path 1.9, you can see only 10 feet of curve. Welcome back to the Swing Lab Performance Golf YouTube channel. I'm Thomas Campbell, Director of Instruction. Today I'm joined by Ian McKenzie-Olsen, one of our teaching professionals. Ian, you've played the last couple years Taylormade drivers. You love playing the Taylormade Stealth. Yeah. Stealth 2, no exception as well, is another great driver out here. This year they got 3 different models. They got the Stealth 2 Plus, they got the Stealth 2, and the Stealth 2 HD. We're going to go over today and talk about just the differences between what each model is and what type of golfer would fit into each particular model. So, in the past, what Stealth driver model have you played?
I've kind of stuck with the Plus. That's kind of more their tour level head, but it can also fit into a big variety of golfers. So
yeah, and generally the Stealth is going to be your lower spinning, maybe a little more workable driver on a kind of lower trajectory ball flight. As for those golfers that generally generate a more club speed, which generates more spin. So it's a head that's designed to knock that spin rate down. Stealth 2 Plus is no exception. It's one of the lowest spinning models out there in the market. So it'll be interesting as we test that head versus the other heads in the same loft and just see how much less it spins. I mentioned they've got 2 other models. So the Stealth is kind of like, you're going to fit most golfers across the board. It's going to be still a pretty moderate trajectory with a little bit more spin and a little bit more forgiveness. As I mentioned, it's going to fit most golfers out there that are playing. And then we also have the HD model, Stealth 2 HD. HD stands for high draw. So this is going to be your draw bias model. So essentially it's going to fit in those golfers that really need to work on, it's a slice fighting golf club. So it'll be interesting to see how we both compare it when we're hitting the other heads, because we're kind of the golfers that we don't want to probably hit a big draw when we're hitting a driver. But it'll be interesting to see how it sets up and how it affects our ball flight. So for today's test, we are both going to be hitting. We have 10.5 degree heads. So we're going to hit them all at 10.5 degree heads. I will swing at some slower speeds. Ian's going to swing at his kind of normal speed, which is a little bit faster than mine. And we're just going to talk about the difference, talk about the spin rate, talk about ball flight, talk about look and feel, and just see which particular driver is going to fit you viewers out there. So stay tuned. Let's find out the results. Okay, Ian, let's get started. We've got this Taylormade Stealth 2 model first. So we'll start with that. We'll do 5 shots with each head. As I mentioned, they're all 10.5 degree heads. Take a look at numbers and see how they perform.
all right, let's do it. That was a good one.
Yes, it was. A little more ball speed. Yes. All right, so Ian, switching this over here to the HD model. So I want you to give me a little feedback of what that looks like at address compared to the Stealth 2 model.
Okay.
As I'm switching this over, just as a reminder to everyone, so golf shafts testing today. Ian's going to be using his Ventus 7X golf shaft. Got some speed. It's a Ventus 7X black. I'll be hitting the Hazardous Gen 4 golf shaft at 6.0, so a little lighter shaft because I won't be swinging as fast. A little more spin there and a little more draw.
I hit the center on that one.
Did that feel like that was?
It felt pretty good.
It felt pretty good?
I don't know. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm not striking it very well, but that felt good.
I mean, that was a lot of curve, but with your speed, you can generate a lot of curve.
Yeah.
Sounded good. And maybe that's like a little reaction to seeing that ball go left a couple of times.
Could be.
Yep. That was a good swing. But even still, you'll notice, the spin rate is still higher. That's good. Yeah, so we're seeing about 300, 350 RPMs more spin with the Stealth 2 HD compared to the Stealth 2. Pretty similar club, ball speed numbers there, but yeah, a little bit more spin, a little higher launch. Interesting, your higher launch, but even though your attack angle was as high. So, good comparison so far. Let's now throw in the Stealth 2 Plus. So Ian, you just made the transition from the Stealth 2 HD to the Plus.
Yeah.
Do you notice anything different in that address if you were going to put the two heads down next to each other?
Yeah, between the Stealth Plus and the HD, definitely you can see the drop bias. I think between the Plus and just the Stealth, they're very similar heads. They don't look much different.
Yeah, one thing I'm kind of noticing here is, from this angle, the Stealth and the Stealth 2 HD, it's got the red ring around the back of the crown. Yeah. Noticing in the Stealth 2 Plus, it doesn't have that at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's looking like it's just gone for more of a, the same color on the top where you've got a little extra to the other two models.
Yep.
So the toe strike's not going to hurt. That was perfect. That's kind of your miss right now too, isn't it? Just that that one that just overdraws a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, it was definitely a lower spinner, but sounded good. Yeah. Nice. Very good. Those are 5 nice drives in a row there. So I mentioned we're going to find out here just kind of what driver is going to be right for your game. Well, it's interesting. You can definitely see how that spin rate has changed. As you'll notice, club speed about 118 for each one, but 2200 spin versus basically 3000 spin. So we're almost seeing 750, 800 RPM difference between the Stealth 2 HD and the Stealth 2 Plus model. Both 10.5 degree loft. Attack angle basically the same. Your swing's pretty consistent, so you can get good testing. But this is why it's important to make sure you don't just go buy something off the rack. You don't just the Stealth 2 model is good, but not realize, hey, I happened to buy the Stealth 2 HD by mistake when maybe I should be playing the Stealth 2 Plus. Yeah. So that's why it's showing. This is really for sure showing the importance of fitting, because you notice the difference, right? What is this 800 RPMs of spin when you're swinging at 117 miles an hour equate to? Well, it's basically 19 yards. So yeah, big difference there in the numbers. You look at dispersion. It's interesting. Obviously, you did hit the Stealth 2 a little bit more consistent over here. The white circle was a little bit better, but you had a couple you left a little open. But you even just notice here with the Stealth 2 Plus, the ones you left open still up there with regards to carry distance overall, and then total distance kind of still up there. You definitely hit the Stealth 2 pretty good. Tiny little drawer every single time. Mm-hmm. So that's good. But Stealth 2 HD, this orange circle you can see, is just lagging behind. It's just because it was spinning a little bit too much. Interesting comparison. How did you like the Stealth 2 Plus compared to the other two?
I think the Stealth 2 Plus was pretty similar to the Stealth. They both, look very similar, feel the same. Looking at the numbers, the main difference was the spin rate. Even between the Stealth Plus and the Stealth, we're seeing a significant change in the spin rate. And, 2600, that's not bad. You can play at 2600. Right. But I personally would rather have, 2200 just to get a few extra yards out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what the 400 RPMs did. You said just get those extra yards out of it. Well, those two actually carried the same distance, 297.6, 297.7. But the extra yards you got 5 yards extra rollout because the spin was a little bit more optimal at 2200 versus the 2600. So, all right, so my turn. I'm excited to test this now at a slower speed and just see how they actually compare.
Oh yeah. All right, Thomas, you got 5 shots with the Stealth 2. What did you think about them? Did you like it? Any similarities between, you know, some of my numbers, some of your numbers?
Well, it's kind of funny. On average, the spin rate is pretty close. I think we're about 2,600 on average on the spin. I had a couple where I got a little heel and a couple on the toe. So my consistency was, you know, I had a couple that were around 2,000, a couple around 3,000 spin with the driver. But flew nice and straight from me, which is kind of what I'm looking for. Is nice and straight is always good. Felt good. You know, it's, you know, nice and quiet driver. It doesn't seem like it's super loud or anything like that. Looking down, it's kind of shiny, but I can tell you, I just put this you know, HD model down, and it looks to me like it's set up. I just can tell that it looks a little bit closed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that at address or anything like that, but it just looks like it's got a little more closed. So it'll be interesting to see how, you know, HD compares.
All right, Thomas, the HD definitely lived up to his name. 4 out of 5 of those shots were big high draws. I noticed one of them we highlighted here. You kind of left the face angle open. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, my face was almost 2 degrees open there. Face to path 1.9. You can see only 10 feet of curve. So it's definitely spun a lot more. I think in general this head spun, you know, significantly more than the actual Stealth model. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like I felt like it was going to go right, and it stayed right there. Yeah. So that's kind of the, you know, your slice fighting design that you had to have out of this particular model. But bring up those numbers really quickly is on the table. I think the spin rate was around about 3,000. I think the spin rate, it was kind of around about, you know, it's 3,300. So it jumped for me just like it kind of jumped for you. So it'll be interesting to see now once we throw in the Stealth 2 HD. And so it'll be interesting to see now, you know, throw in the Stealth 2 Plus just to see what happens to the spin if it drops kind of like it did for you. Yeah, there you go. Like that shot there, my face to path was only 1.3, but you'll notice the curve was even further to the right on that one. Slow it down. There we go.
All right, Thomas. So what did you think hopping around from driver to driver? Did you notice anything in, you know, consistency, like forgiveness or anything like that? I know there was obviously a big difference between the HD and the Plus going between those two.
Yeah, it is quite a change up, and with the Plus model, I had a harder time getting that thing to turn over a little bit. I actually noticed my average curve there was 11 feet to the right. Whereas in the other two models, I was getting a little bit more of a drawer. So if you look, yeah, 11 feet to the right. Stealth HD was, you know, 39 feet to the left, and the Stealth 2 was 26 feet to the left. And also interesting that I was hitting the ball further to the right with the Stealth 2 Plus, but if you take a look at the height, only 80 feet in the air. So it's a lower spinning, more fade bias driver compared to the other two, which are more neutral or slightly more draw bias is what we're seeing here, which is kind of what, you know, Taylormade kind of markets these drivers for, which is great that we're seeing that. More ball speed. So if you look here, you can see my efficiency, you know, was a little higher, 148. Spin rate was the lowest of them all, and I think the launcher was a little lower. I find it really interesting if you look at the spin rate, a plus or minus number. So you can see it was spinning the lowest but also you see the plus or minus 71. So that's the average of those 5 shots. If you look at the other 2, you can see the consistency wasn't quite there. So you can basically summarize and say Stealth 2 Plus is a lower spinning model. Is what we're seeing, and kind of overall, pretty good numbers overall. Went further as well. So if you look here, 283.2, 277.1 with the Stealth 2, 268.1 with the Stealth 2 HD. So for me, the way that I swing, I need something that's going to be a little bit lower spinning. I'm going to be sacrificing distance if I'm spinning it at 3,300 with, say, the HD model.
So it kind of seems like for both of us, we maybe fit into the more Stealth Plus category. What kind of player would you say would maybe fit into the HD model, or maybe even the regular Stealth 2 model?
Yeah, so it's going to be people that maybe need a little extra height, favor a little extra height. They don't maybe swing quite as fast. I was slowing my speed down, but I was trying to slow it down. I was at about 103 miles an hour on the club speed. You get a golfer that's maybe 90 miles an hour with their driver. That's when we'll probably maybe favor those particular models, because they're designed to get the ball up in the air and spin a little bit more. With our speeds, we can handle a little bit more, little less spin. But just face it, if you swing faster, you're going to generate more spin. If you swing slower, you're going to generate less spin. And then you got to talk about your ball flight category. Who wants to draw the ball, who wants to fade the ball, who wants to hit the ball straight. And the HD model is definitely going to favor those golfers that do fade the ball or slice the ball. And let's face it, most golfers slice the ball. So HD or Stealth is usually why you're going to fit more into that category. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, interesting. Yeah, I mean, Stealth 2 HD, you can see landing angle 44 degrees and height 119. Stealth 2 Plus 33 degrees, height 80, and then the Stealth 2 was kind of right in the middle between the 2 of them. That's just swinging at 103 miles an hour. I think it's safe to say, if you even look at your numbers when you were hitting here, Stealth 2 HD, 101 feet to the left when you were swinging. Stealth 2 HD, 39 feet to the left for me. Those were the 2 highest. So you can see that we were both drawing the ball more with that particular model. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at Stealth 2 Plus, 53 feet to the left, and you're a drawer of the golf ball. So you can see it didn't curve as much to the left compared to, actually split it in half, and you can see mine was actually slightly more to the right. So, yeah. And then the Stealth 2 kind of fit right in the middle. And mm-hmm. I don't think we've talked about the Stealth 2 enough here in this video, because I think we like to contrast and compare the difference and talk about what's obvious. But the Stealth 2, it's still going to fit the majority of golfers that want to hit the ball a little straighter, forgiveness, and be able to work the ball both directions as well. So Stealth 2 is just going to be a great complement that fits right in the middle between the models. Yeah, I mean, so we can see with this video just the importance on how these 3 particular models are going to help in a club fitting, or if you're getting a lesson, you're recommended into a particular model. There's quite a range, even at faster or even slower swing speeds, in between these 3 particular models. So at Swing Lab Performance Golf, we do both. We give lessons, we do club fittings, and also, if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and let us know what other videos you want to see.